All right. Well, welcome everybody. This is Social Media with Sports Philanthropy Network. Great panel we have going on today about social media. Look forward to an awesome panel with our guests and experts here. We have Larry Kaufman, LinkedIn Larry, we love to call him, great friend, who is a international LinkedIn expert. Midwest region here, Jefferson Wells company. And then we also have Dawn Swick-Renshaw, social media strategist and chief executive officer of Stony Creek Social Media. Dawn, would you like to introduce yourself and say a little bit more about you and your company?
Right. I started the company about 10 years ago and founded it on my core values. And my number one core value is going above and beyond for the customer. And that's followed closely by kindness. And so one of the niches that my agency has gotten into is nonprofits. So this one is very near and dear to my heart. I really believe that everyone needs to do something extra just for their space they take up in the world. So I was very honored. I have a staff that truly believes and embraces those core values. So it's exciting to be here. Thank you, Brian.
Well, my pleasure, Dawn. Larry?
Wonderful. I'm going to talk more about myself. I think I'm just going to get us launched so we could talk about LinkedIn and use our time effectively. And, I'm so used to being a live presenter. So what I've done today is brought my own applause. Oh, you know what? I've used it so much, it stopped working. New battery needed. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. I've got a deck to go through today, so bear with me. And I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to get there. We're almost there. There we go. Okay. So here is my deck for today. I love technology.
When it works.
Yeah. When it works. So I want to thank everyone. I want to thank Roy for having me here, Dawn, my cohort in crime, Ryan, Brian, and all of you participating today. So we're going to talk about how and why to use LinkedIn during and after this new next in sports philanthropy. So the agenda, I'm going to set some expectations. I do like to talk about myself, one of my favorite topics. I'll talk about my firm, There's a Reason Why. And really what I do is a brief PowerPoint, and I'm going to go to a live LinkedIn demo. And then we'll try to filter in some questions along the way. Some expectations for today is I want to help you link up with those that you know that you didn't know that you knew. And a lot of people have no idea what that means. Being able to say that fast as a result of some monster drinks this morning, but have you ever met with someone virtually in this new norm or live and they mention a name, hey, do you know Roy? And you're like, who's Roy Kessel? I don't know. Well, you're connected to Roy, and maybe back then Roy was someone you met at some event, but today Roy's someone to know. So sometimes I reconnect people with people that they know that they didn't know that they knew and that they should know. I know, hard to believe I said that again, Dawn. Okay, so there's
I'm going to steal that one.
Thank you. Feel free to do so. So there's a lot of people that are probably novice, basic level users. What I'm going to share today, some things that will help you get to be an advanced user. And a lot of you are in the sports world. You're in philanthropy, touching into the sports world. Your profile is an opportunity to highlight what you do, how you do it. And some people really don't take advantage to truly brand yourself, what you do and who you represent. So your corporate brand and how you connect with maybe corporate donors or other people in the philanthropic world or the sports world. So I want to help you expand those networks today. And I think the anticipated results would be to be more effectively networking. We have more time in our calendars to network. We're all adapting to do this virtually because we're not going into the office. My wife had asked me the other day, said, Larry, are you going to be working home more often? It's kind of good to have you here. And we've been married 31 years, so I thought life is really getting good. My wife still loves me. And what I found out was she said, well, I'm glad you're going to be home because we're saving so much money on gas and dry cleaning and all the other crap that you spent money on. It's great to have you home. So it wasn't so much about love, but it is that we are adapting. And since we have more time, we could be more effective with that time. So I want you to learn at least 3 new things today, which I think is reasonable. And then I'm going to be your SME. Dawn's going to be your SME. That stands for subject matter expert. So here's my favorite slide. So this is my slide about LinkedIn Larry that was given to me years ago in Vegas when I was presenting. And it started out as Scary Larry, but evolved to LinkedIn Larry. So I stuck with that moniker. But I am the regional managing director for Jefferson Wells, part of Manpower Group. I've been in leadership roles, business development roles for the past 30 years. Authored a book called The NCG Factor about networking, connecting, and giving last year, and it has a chapter on LinkedIn, and have been speaking globally about LinkedIn for the past 12 years. Got my start doing so in the field of executive recruitment. Been using this as a business tool since '04. And actually, when Navigator, the premium membership, was being developed, I worked with product management corporate at LinkedIn for some insights and advice. And I've spoken to all types of organizations. I bring up my company because there's a lot of change in this world where there's a talent surplus, millions unemployed. And so we're putting thousands of people to work all around the globe through Manpower Group. They even got my son to work, who's 20. So check out our website. We're putting people into all types of roles, senior, seasoned people to your college kids. So we're a big $22 billion global company that's keeping tabs on what's happening with automation and everything that's happening when we've had a talent shortage to a talent surplus. I want to talk about LinkedIn and Batman. So this, I know you're laughing, Dawn. So this isn't a resume.
Get it, yeah.
I'm vengeance on the night. I'm really getting sick of your LinkedIn invites. So some of you joined a while back, maybe recently, and you built this profile. It looks nice, and you've invited people and vice versa. And then you have this network and profile. And what do you do with it? Almost like some of us feel with Twitter or with Facebook. So I want to demystify that today. So over my tenure being on LinkedIn, I have a first level network of 28,000. I have a following of almost 30,000 people, which is great for thought leadership. And this sounds crazy to ask this, but I need you, if you have the LinkedIn app on your phones, we're going to do a quick interactive. I'd like you to take out your Droid or iPhone. You're going to do this with me together. And it's going to go quick, but if you can find your app, and if you see on the left side of this image here, this is Reid Hoffman. If you don't know who he is, he's the original founder of LinkedIn. I reached out to Reid when I just joined LinkedIn with about 1 million members and thought it would be great to connect with him. So we were having dialogue, and he declined my invite because he said he didn't know me. This is your network, to build your network with who you want in it. Now, I'm going to show you how to customize an invitation on your app. A lot of people tell me they can't. When you go to the full website, only go to people's profiles so you can customize the invite. Never connect anywhere else. On the app, don't click connect. You're going to click the more button. So you see the more button in yellow. So what you're going to do is you're going to find me in that little search window. You're going to type Larry, Larry, and then Kaufman. I'm in Chicago. My name's in all caps because I like to shout, so you can find me, and I have a big ego. But find me, Larry Kaufman, Jefferson Wells, and click that more button, and then you'll see to the right side it says personalized invite. So in there, type in something. Hey, I'm at Roy's event. Hey, you're great so far. Hey, I've already learned almost 3 things. I love your tie. Dawn's awesome. Whatever you want to say, please share it. So I'll give you a few seconds. I'll give you 5. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Next quick thing that you're going to do when you're meeting with someone face to face, we still do some of that, or with a neighborhood, friend. Here's what you're going to do. This is a way to connect. Like when you go to a movie theater and one of you are scanning, one of the theater guy or woman is scanning your code for that movie. It's the same principle. So you see on the left side of the screen, in the search window, there's 4 little boxes. Touch it with your finger, and then you'll be able to see a scan or a code comes up. So one of you would be scanning, one of you would be the code. This pulls up your profile, kind of a fun way to quickly connect with people. Try it out, even with your kids. So before I talk about Kevin Bacon, I need you to put away your phones. And I know it's a hard thing. Take a glance at that email, but close it up, turn it over, put it away. Let's talk about Kevin Bacon, the famous actor and musician. And if you've ever heard of the 6 degrees of separation game to get to Kevin, LinkedIn has put that game on steroids and made it a 3-degree game. And because of my 28,000, I made it a 2-degree game. What I will tell you is what this means with Kevin. Anyone that you want to connect to, if it's someone in sports, someone who played for the NHL, the NBA, the NFL, if they're 2nd degree to you, it means that 1 or more of your 1st degree connections are a pathway to get to that person. Kevin's 2nd to me. I wanted to connect with Kevin. I got a lot of shared connections that could be my pathway to Kevin. If you build the right 1st degree network, it's going to give you a phenomenal pathway to the people you want to know that you don't know today. 3rd degree is almost like a cold call. There's no way to get connected to the 3rd degree. Now I'm going to share something on this screen here, which is going to be foreign to some of you, and some of you are going to recognize it. It's called a Rolodex. It's the solar-powered Salesforce.com. So back in the day, people like myself, I'm old. I know I look really young. I'm 56. Back in the day, I had one of these Rolodexes, and this is how we stored our contacts. Some of you actually have functioning ones, or you take people on tours to see these. But LinkedIn has become an electronic Rolodex 365, 24/7. So if I'm connected to Dawn, and Dawn knows people who are in sports, and I want to know those people, Dawn is my pathway, and I could look at her network anytime and pull up names of people she's connected to and ask for introductions. That is powerful. A lot of people just connect on LinkedIn with people, but don't look at their networks. And now you can go on people's profiles and click on their networks and view that. So this is a great way to help yourself, but I also say it's a great way to help other people. And I live my life to help other people. And so through LinkedIn, when someone has requests to connect for one reason or another, I could find people to introduce them to. So I've become a better connector, a better giver, and a better trusted advisor through LinkedIn. Brief stats on LinkedIn, not to bore you, but 700 million people on LinkedIn. Remember, I started with 1 million people on LinkedIn. So Reed founded that business in 2002, launched it officially in 2003, and then sold it and made a lot of money, much more than I have, to Microsoft for $26 billion. It's growing at a fast clip. So there's a lot of college kids on there. I encourage you, get your kids on there no matter what they do. And what I would also say is you don't have to pay for a membership. What I share today is for free. LinkedIn will always be free because I pay a lot of money through my P&L to LinkedIn for corporate recruitment, LinkedIn recruiter memberships. So a lot of corporations spend a lot of money for that. LinkedIn makes money through advertising and sponsorships, but also through memberships. And a lot of people belong to groups. I don't know if you knew this, but LinkedIn's reported user goal is at 3 billion. So they'll be a little above Facebook's user goal. 61 million people out there are senior level influencers and 40 million decision makers. If you like or comment or share anything today on LinkedIn, you're part of that 3 million sharing content weekly. I put out the stat about 5 million plus accountants because those are the people that write checks. 65 million people out there are really using this tool to generate business and leads. And then you're wondering, like, how many contacts should you have? Well, the average user has 400. The average CEO has 930. If you are under 500, here's what happens. We know how many contacts you have. If you have 501, you're 500 plus. So if you look at your networking, you're under 500, do whatever you have to do to get above that to get that 500 plus. It could be embarrassing if you're below 500. And let's face it, I've had college interns work for me. with over 500 connections. We could do it. Thought leadership, and we're going to get to this, and Dawn's going to, talk a little bit about this with me too. But thought leadership is really powerful, where you don't have to have your own content. You can like and share and comment. Or when I published my book last year, this shows about 23,000 views. I actually had 35,000 and several hundred likes and comments. And it was very powerful to use this, but to promote your charity event, to promote something about you, even if you're looking for a new role. So much you could do with LinkedIn if you're looking to hire for your organization. A lot that you could do with thought leadership and posting and articles. So we're networking now. I mentioned we have more time to do this virtual or live networking, but how do we do it effectively? So if Dawn and I get together and we know each other and we're going to network, we talk about family, personal stuff, and we talk about our businesses and updates, and then maybe went to each other's profiles and we picked up people we wanted to know. Where it falters is on our introduction. Did anyone ever ask you to introduce them to someone else and you're like, yeah, I know that person. I can get you to Roy, no problem. And they go, fantastic. And you don't do it because you're thinking, well, wait a minute, how do I introduce that person? So you kind of back burner it. I'm going to tell you all that you have homework today. Have you ever created your own introduction? We all do very interesting things. Roy and Dawn and other people on this webinar and event. How do we introduce you the right way? How could you introduce me the right way? So I'd rather take the creative control out of your hands and create my own introduction written in the third person. So this is great for people in transition, great for anybody. So instead of me trying to introduce Dawn and say all the wrong things, and she goes, wow, that introduction was terrible, Larry, but she probably won't tell me. She'll like keep it to herself, but she knows it was awful. But she could write it much better than I can. So consider writing your own. So when someone says, hey, I've got a potential donor you should meet. I've got a potential person in the sports world you should know. Great. Let me send you my introduction to make it easier for you. Hopefully you guys like that. I like it. So I have the ABC I like to use, the ABC principle. Now, if you're in the sales world or you like movies with Alec Baldwin pre-Trump, Glengarry Glen Ross, he would say, always be closing, ABC. I say always be connecting. You can't stop. And now more than ever is an imperative time to build relationships. So I will tell you, LinkedIn can do much more for you, for yourself, yes, but for other people. So right now, a lot of people out of work. So you can help them find recruiters, career positions, internships. You can help them connect to potential, clients, to other trusted advisors. You could find vendors and service providers for your charity, for your business, for yourself. And if you hate your cable company, I hope no one works for one of the cable companies, but if you do, and you don't get the service you want and get into the supervisor you need to get to, don't worry. Go on LinkedIn and find executives at Comcast and AT&T, and you get your disputes resolved. Don't do it all the time, but I do it. So, okay, last slide. We're going to go to demo, and we'll open up for some questions. You can be an open networker. You can be selective. I encourage you to build a solid network of people you like and trust and that you know, and build it in your world. Because if you're connected to people in the sports world, they're connected to people in the sports world. If you're connected to people with a charitable interest or focus, same thing. And then you can connect with other people. Connecting to me today, I'm a connector. So connecting to Dawn, who's very connected, we're connected to Roy. So you need to have connectors in your network as well. And today we have to convert a lot of data into usable information. So I'm gonna stop that share. I'm gonna reshare my screen again for my LinkedIn site, but I'll open up to any quick questions or anything Brian or anyone wants to ask before I start up the demo.
Yeah, a couple of quick questions on it. Somebody who does use LinkedIn, but probably not to the best of my abilities. Something like a premium package that you pay for. Is that something you see as a necessity moving forward?
So here's my personal opinion. I'm a big ROI guy, return on investment. So try it for free and use some of the things we talk about today that you can do for free, and then consider maybe taking their free trial for a paid membership if you want more. I can explain why people go to paid memberships. One reason is if you're end up doing a lot of searching, and some of you, if you've had this come up, if you've ever received a message you're approaching your commercial search limit, that's a free member warning sign that you're searching a lot. That means you did a search and you click on all these profiles and pages. There's an algorithm LinkedIn uses. They don't tell you what the limit is. But if you want unlimited searches, you go to the Business Plus membership, which is about $50 to $60 a month. So that's one reason why people will go for a paid membership. The other would be, if you see here who's viewed my profile, free members, if you want to see who's viewed your profile, you're not going to know. They're going to tell you to pay for it. So I could see Jennifer and Taylor and Jamal and Cassandra and other people checking me out, right? And this reminds me to connect with people. Oh, I got to connect with Kat. It's been a while. It's a great thing to see it. So I like seeing who's viewed my profile. If you want to send a message to people, if I want to send a message, I can send you an invitation, and I have 300 characters to use to send you a message. If you pay for a membership, you can have an in-mail and a bank of in-mails to send unlimited character count to any one of the 700 million people on LinkedIn. Those are some of the reasons why you pay. Hopefully that answered it. Long-winded, but good response, right, Brian? Dawn?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Dawn, you want to add anything to that?
I would like to add that when I start working with a client, the first thing I require for them is to get to the 500. One of the exercises that we talk about is that you never send a blank invite, because that drives me insane. And that, you make genuine connections. You don't just start connecting with random people. You connect with people that either you can help them or they can help you, or, down the road. But yeah, and it's LinkedIn is a very powerful tool. I agree with Larry. It's not, the paid version isn't for everybody. LinkedIn has such a robust dashboard by itself without the paid version, but the paid version, once you get to that level, to me, it's a good value.
Yeah, I mean, that's the if you're in a sales or development role, then I would say, LinkedIn Navigator, about $1,000 plus per year is the ultimate. It is like a CRM. So good points. Was there anything else before we move forward, Brian? Because I know we got a lot of ground to cover in a short time.
Nope, go for it.
Awesome. So this is the home page. You log in here with your email and password. In the center here, this is your feed. So all the companies, all the people you're connected to, you could follow people and not connect with them. You could follow Bill Gates. He's not going to follow you back. So this is your feed. Also hashtags that you follow. I'm going to show you that in a moment. This is your feed. And this is where you could like, comment, share. This is where you're part of that thought leadership and sharing content. Now, there's a new thing with hashtags. So if I come in here and I look for sports, and I just click on that, there's a sports hashtag with 54,000 followers. So you could follow that, and that's going to flow in some information into your feed on sports. What I want to do is tell you on this page, I look at who's viewed your profile. If you're a free member, not going to help. If you're posting, you could see the statistics on your post, the hashtags you touch. There's a new event feature, but I don't look at too much more. If you're out of work or people out of work, here's who's hiring now is a nice thing that's always there to check on that and see the companies that are hiring during this pandemic and tough time. But I want to talk about posting. So if I click in here to start a post, I could select if I want anyone on LinkedIn to be able to see it. If you tie Twitter to your account, you can tie that in. Send only your connections, or you can customize further. In a post, though, you could tag people. So I could tag Roy, and then Roy in his notifications up towards the top right gets notified that I tagged him. And then if I want to tag his network, I could tag his network. So you could tag people, companies, and then you could put in hashtags. Typically, they say 3 is a good amount of hashtags to put in there. So I could put in sports because I know that's a nice one, or I could put in the hashtag philanthropy. So you could do a lot with hashtags, and this is how you get a little more mileage with your post. You could put in attachments, video, pictures, and when you put in a video, they like original videos versus some of these other tools that make it look beautiful. You get a better hit rate or view rate when you make a sort of a homegrown video. And I'll show you some of my posts, and then we'll come back and see if Dawn would like to contribute to this. So I do a lot of posting. I post my events. So this is where you could post if you're speaking somewhere, you have an event for your charity organization, yourself, and then you could see like I'll tag people. I put in some hashtags as well. And then you could see the kind of views that I get. This is another event, 946. Here's a beautiful video that I did for people in career transition. And when you do a video, you get a lot of great statistics. So I could see my reshares. I could see how many views, really powerful information from those analytics. So that had 4,000 views, and that was put out the other day. So check out my stuff, good stuff. And then if you post something, if you click on the 3 dots, now I put this in my featured section on my profile. If I didn't, I'll show you another one here. So anything you post, you could feature in your profile. And I will show you that when we come to my profile. So what I will tell you is when you do a post, it has limited character count and you can't make it look beautiful as when you write an article. An article has unlimited character count and you could make it look much nicer. And you could do a lot of the same things you would do with a post, but you could do much more. So I'm going to put it back to Dawn or Brian or any questions. Dawn, any thoughts or comments before we proceed?
I think I've learned my 3 things today. As a digital marketing agency, we deal with Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Google, and whatever they've invented in the last 5 minutes. So it's really interesting to try to to see a view of the an expert in the LinkedIn world. And I agree with everything that you say. And it is interesting how Facebook and Instagram and Twitter are alike, but yet they're different. I know that there was a time when, we talked about hashtags on LinkedIn and everyone cringed, and now it's something that they've embraced. And I really appreciate that. I do like the features that LinkedIn has added for the posts. And I know that the clients that we serve on LinkedIn, especially because sometimes the nonprofits that we deal with will be like, well, I don't really, the people coming through our door aren't really going to be on LinkedIn. And I said, as a nonprofit, you really have 2 faces. You have the face that sees the people coming through the door that you're helping. The other face is the donor. So you need to make sure that you're speaking to both worlds. And I, as a donor myself, one thing that I like to see is the wins. I'm a big supporter of Big Brothers Big Sisters. So, Big Brothers Big Sisters will post things about the success stories that they've had with their bigs and littles. So LinkedIn has become a very valuable tool for the nonprofit world.
Very good. And then we have a question that actually came from the audience as well. Is, do you recommend connecting friends via email and include a LinkedIn profile URL, or skip the email and just use LinkedIn? And I think we could probably use that really for every social media as well. So if you guys want to comment on that question.
So you're talking about if they want to use the messaging feature and connect people to people this way?
I think it was more of, do they send an email and just add their URL for LinkedIn into their email when they're asking friends, to be involved or to be included, or do you just go straight to LinkedIn and do it?
Yeah, I mean, I and I'll have Dawn weigh in. In my email signature, I have a LinkedIn button, so people always see my information there to connect with me. I will sometimes just tell people to go out on LinkedIn and find me, but I'm not certain if that's exactly what they were looking for as far as the question goes.
I think they were trying to think, is one better than the other, is the way I understood the question. And I don't think that either one of them is wrong. I don't think either one of them is right. It's just, I think it basically deals on who you're dealing with. If you're dealing with someone who's very tech savvy and is going to understand, then you could send them the LinkedIn Connect, because it has a little short note place where you can put a note and said, hey, I'd like to connect with you on LinkedIn. I saw you on this event, this program, where I met you here. That's what I would do, unless it's somebody that you're connecting with who isn't, maybe on LinkedIn all the time, or doesn't really understand, or is intimidated by the platform. Then you could send them an email, kind of lead them through. It's like, here's a link to my profile. Click here to connect with me. And so I guess you have to look at who you're inviting.
No, good points. I think you're right. Everyone's going to do it different, make it easy, and this is very new for you. One other thing I want to show you before I go on to the next section. So I was talking about hashtags. So there is no, I probably spelled it wrong today, but I didn't see anything for this hashtag. So let Roy know. He could be the first one to follow this, right? And start up his own hashtag there. And then I also want to show you one other thing for content. So if you want to do this, it's actually a search to find all types of content. I put it in quotes to keep it together. So you can try this on your own. So I could do it for content, but I could also look for people that have that somewhere in their title, their profile. So I came up with 1,615 people, and then I could filter it by second degree or first degree locations. So a lot that you could do when you start using that window, but I'm going to do more searches in a little bit, but a lot of ground to cover in a short period of time. So one thing I want to tell you is under the Me button here, everything we show you today, if you need more help, the help section is awesome. One thing I will tell you is settings and privacy on your own time. Go to this section because there's so many changes that LinkedIn has implemented. It's a whole different look and feel if you haven't been here for a while. And I would tell you the things to focus on: security, maybe consider multi-factor, a multi-step security, change your password. This is still the internet, and you could still be hacked. And then if you look, they've set it up here to go section by section by section. So really kind of cool. Visibility. So visibility, and when you view someone's profile, even though you're a free member, you can't see who's viewing you. Do you want them to be able to see that you're viewing them? You may not mind. You may want that donor to know you keep checking them out. And your profile is public. There's a new story feature. Too much stuff to go through, but you can always reach out to me. I'm happy to help you out. And one thing I would tell you is, a lot of people don't realize this, but LinkedIn does allow you to get a copy of your data, your contacts. You can export to an Excel file, and it's right in this section here. But basically what happens is you're not going to get their email address. And the reason being, LinkedIn is asking you, do you want to let people download your email address and their data export? And the default is no. And most people aren't going to say yes to that. And that's a new feature. And as a result of this is a part of a global data privacy regulation. As a result of this, if you see a second degree connection, that there's no shared connections, it's because of this new global data privacy regulation and how people are setting up their privacy. So I let people see my email address and my information. I don't care. But I'm going to tell you to please come through all your settings. If I have time, I'll come back, or I'll answer questions on settings. But real important to update your settings. Now I'm going to come back. I always come back to the home button. It clears out anything I'm doing. My network. So I'll tell you my network. Here's where we see people inviting, me to their network with custom messages, events coming up. and then people you may know. And you may go, oh, Lynn from Loyola, we went to school together. Don't click connect. Go to Lynn's profile and then click connect and add a note. You have 300 characters. This is how for free you can send a message to people. So add that note, 300 characters. Don't do it anywhere else. And by the way, if I go to Roy's profile and some things I want to do for Roy, I could share his profile in a message. I could save it to a PDF. I can give him kudos because I think he's awesome. I could request a recommendation. I could recommend him. I could remove him and he won't be notified. And I could report or block him. And so sometimes I say blocking people is good because maybe someone did something bad, committed fraud, they're a police blotter. I say it's a good ex-business partner, ex-spouse, significant other feature where you block them and you are gone from their world. So kind of cool. Keep that in mind. I'm showing you fun things to do. Jobs, if you're looking. Now remember, you can also post, hey, I'm looking for a development person for my team, for my charity. You could put that out there. You could do that as a post. Messages, you can write messages to people. You could send a group of messages and you just come in here, this little icon, and start typing names of people and then pull them up. Roy will come up and I could start typing more and send a message. Notifications, this is where you're tagged. Also, this is where birthdays come up and anniversaries. And I love to just go, hey, if it was Rachel's birthday, to take it outside of LinkedIn and send Rachel a note, happy birthday. Boy, it's been a long time. We should get together. Now, covering a lot of ground, but I want to come to the profile. And I'm going to share some things and I'm going to ask for Dawn's feedback and any questions. And I am breathing. It's probably hard to tell, but I am taking a breath here and there. So here's my profile. So here's what I'll tell you. A background image is really powerful. Hello, Kayla. So background image is really powerful. Now, maybe your organization doesn't have one that fits the pixel count, but check with your marketing folks if they do. If they don't, you can go on Google and type in free LinkedIn background images, and you could download, upload one of those for yourself. Picture is really great, and really get it professionally done, or have someone take it with your phone, and don't have a person's head under your armpit. Please don't do that. Just think about your audience and how you're connecting. If you're going to be dressed up or more casual, smoking a cigar or holding a beer, yeah, think about it, because this is not Facebook. Here's your title. Your headline, your name, everything's here. It shouldn't just be what you do at your company. Get creative. Now you're probably wondering about this little icon. So here's something I'll let you know. There's two things you could do on your iPhone app and your Droid app for LinkedIn. You could record your name. Guess what? You have 10 seconds to record your name. Think about how long it takes me to say Larry Kaufman. It was designed for people to have difficult names to pronounce. But you could say other things about yourself in 10 seconds. Make it clean. Guess what else? If you want to meet with people, virtually and then send them a little note, you could do a recording on the LinkedIn app in the messaging section, send them a message, but record your message to them. Kind of cool. Or I'm telling people, send a quick video of yourself, a 15-second video. After I meet with Dawn, I can send her a little video. And that's all outside of LinkedIn. But look at my profile as a good example of things you could do, but my headline is not just my title. And all I'll say is get creative. If you're a veteran, if you're an NFL, NBA, NHL, Major League, baseball, throw it in there. That's kind of cool. I met someone recently who was an Olympian and never had it in their profile. So, oh my God, put it in there. So now it's splattered throughout their profile. It's everywhere. If you like things that you see in someone's profile, hover over it, copy, paste. And look at my about section. This is where you credentialize yourself. And you and even where you work, your organization. And you see that first sentence opens it up. So make sure it's a good one. But I have a nice organized section. And guess what? Your LinkedIn profile is not your resume. Your resume could never say these things. Look how I talk about the great shape that I'm in, right? Like I've got a 6-pack of beer at my house. And so then I talk about my movie career. I'm just seeing if I can get Dawn to laugh. Okay, and then my movie career. If I put that in my resume, you think I'd be knocked out of the running for an opportunity? Definitely. So if you're cool, and a lot of you are, put in some personalized things about yourself that people like and your philanthropic interests as well. So I put mine here. I had a preemie daughter. And so think about what you put in there, your expertise, LinkedIn profile. This is all searchable by keywords. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Here's my featured section. I got some great stuff there. Check it out. But you can have your own featured section too. Your experience, what you do, what you've done. And then also you can put in education, certifications. If you don't see something here, go to the add profile section. And just one quick point, if you speak only English, don't put English as your language. If you speak 2 languages, make sure to add that other language. So I'm going to stop and breathe for a moment, see if Dawn has anything to add and address questions.
What I tell people is that LinkedIn is your walking, talking billboard about you, and people don't understand, I don't think a lot of times, the value of it. So when I meet with a new client, they'll be like, oh, it's just LinkedIn. And I'm like, oh, no, LinkedIn is there. They'll be like, well, that's only if I need a job, or it's only if I'm looking for a job. And I'm like, no, LinkedIn has brought me and so many of my clients. And it's funny that you say the birthdays and anniversaries and things like that. I have a client who I call him my poster child. He started his business the day before he met me. And so we went through the whole thing. And so I made him go get headshots for his LinkedIn profile. He didn't want to. I made him get to the 500 before I would meet with him a second time. And he always wishes everyone a happy birthday and anniversary. And if we're out in Kalamazoo area networking, he's known as the birthday guy. And so like when we walk into a room, somebody, oh, there's the birthday guy. And they'll introduce him to everyone at the table like he's their best friend. And it's just kind of a niche that he's done. And so, yeah, that information is very valuable. But and one thing I always like to add is that it's not a sales tool. I mean, please don't send these spammy invites saying, I want to connect with you and I want to sell you this and sell you that. It's like, I always say, it's like, at least buy them dinner and a drink first.
I totally agree with everything you're saying, Dawn. Yeah, don't be always selling on LinkedIn. Right now, today, in our time, it's the time to build relationships, even on LinkedIn, when connecting with people. Are there any questions, Brian, that we should address quickly before we continue to roll forward?
On the LinkedIn front, no, nothing right now coming through. We have some other questions, but we'll get to those as we get a little bit farther in.
Okay, wonderful. So you can see there's a lot of ground to cover, and I will actually pass on some best practices that I'll share that I created during social distancing with Brian to pass on to everybody as well. But definitely on the profile, the things in summary to think about is make an exciting headline, share an exciting headline, record your name on your app, but remember you've got 10 seconds, and create, like we said, a powerful section about you, the organization you represent. Don't just make it all business. Include some interesting things about yourself, and repetition gets you visible. You can add to your featured section, put in where you work and what your organization does and what you do for your organization. Include some links, and you just go in and edit here, include links and attachments, great things that you could do. And I didn't mention skills, but you have 50 skills that you can add. They're all searchable. And if you got a great organization, get people to recommend that organization. It's good for people to read about that, and other accomplishments, honors, and awards. So
one thing,
yes.
Can I just say one quick thing? What I recommend to my clients too is to go in and check that skills list and make sure that you're not being endorsed for something that you don't do. A lot of times when I was first in the social media world, I really wasn't doing SEO per se. And so everyone kept, I think it was just, used to be, they just popped up all the time, endorse this person, endorse this person. And so I kept getting endorsed for SEO. And I wanted to make sure, because I did actually have someone reach out to me, hey, I see that you do SEO. So that's one thing that I recommend to people, is just make sure that you're not being recommended for something that you don't do.
That is a great point. And I've had people recommend me for things I don't do, and I don't put them on my profile. So thank you. Nice ad there. So here's what I wanted to wrap with, given our time, and we want to open up to questions. LinkedIn, you could use this search bar just to type in something, but if you click in the search window and you hit enter, then you could all search even for free and come down here. But remember, if you hit that commercial search limit, it resets the first of the next month and maybe the prompter to try that free trial or pay. But I come in here and I use all filters a lot. So one way to enhance and build up your network really quickly is to come in here and scroll down and go to past companies and type in, if you used to work for IBM, Accenture, Microsoft, Deloitte, that's fine. And I could just hit apply and I could find all the people that used to work at my past companies. Now that's 2 million people. Well, I just want to find the people where I'm at, and I'm in Chicago. And so I just come over here, Greater Chicago. Who worked at those companies in Chicago? Ooh, 30,000. Well, you know what? Who were second degree in that list? Because then I have a pathway to get introduced. Oh my God, 6,000. But you know what? Of those 6,000, who was in the NFL? 16. Or who has NFL in their profile? So you can further refine and customize as I just did it. I hope this is recorded, Brian, but again, reach out to me and I could walk you through the screenshots, but you see how I went back in and filtered. I know we don't have a lot of time left, but I just want you to also know, if I go to Roy's profile, I want to show you how to look at someone's network you're networking with and why sometimes you can't. If I want to network with Roy and look at his network and he looks at mine, one of us will be happy and one of us won't. Roy blocked his network in those privacy settings. So we'll talk to Roy about that. But you know what? It's Roy's account. If he wants to block it, he can. He closed his network. I could ask him to open it up because we're going to network. Can you open up your network and you could look at mine? Now, if I look at, here, I'll look at this guy here, John. He works on our team here. John's opened it up so I could look at his network of connections and I could filter it. And that's a way to network with some of your peers in the sports world, in the philanthropic world. So you could do a lot in this little search that I mentioned with the filters. You could search for almost anything. So it's really up to you. So you could pick, you have to look and see, like here's philanthropy. And so I could look at that and I could say, I want to look for philanthropy in Los Angeles. So I do Los Angeles, and then I can click apply. Now that may yield a big result, but then I can go, well, maybe I just want to put in football, anyone with football. I can say the word football. Now, if I said NFL, that'd be a different result. So I'm showing you a lot of things that you could do, but because of our time constraints, I'm going to stop, open it up for questions for Dawn and I, and anything else you want us to repeat or show you on LinkedIn.
Larry, I think that was great. I appreciate you taking the time to go through that. I think it's some great information that everybody can use. One question that came through on maybe some posting, what's too much and what's too little? Can you overboard on some of your postings?
I'm going to let our expert Dawn address that one.
It's really something that you have to balance out. We post for all of our clients on every platform at least once a day. And you really have to experiment it, because what's too many for my profile is going to be different for Larry's, different for Brian's. So you really have to know your audience. And if you are posting and like Larry's, we're getting a lot of results, then that's great. And Larry could start posting more, but if those results start going down, then you want to back off. Sometimes we always say, like, if you post something and it's on fire, doing really well, and if you post something too quickly behind that, it's going to put that fire out. So you really have to, it's a case by case issue, but I don't know Larry, how often do you post?
So traditionally, I usually just post like once a week. Lately, I will say I was a bad boy and I posted a couple more because I had some events coming up, but typically 1 to 2 times a week at most.
Mhm. The strategy that we use is there's 3 reasons to post on social media. It's to get people to know you, to like you, and to trust you. So, so we post Monday through Friday. So we have 5 posts. So, one of those might be about, your website, go to the website and find out about you. One might be a service that you provide. The other one might just be tips and tricks for people in your industry or whatever your target market is. And then sometimes we just say, have a great Monday. It's Monday, and that's so know, like, and trust. And so sometimes we look at it, we sit down with a content calendar at the beginning of the month and say, okay, what are we going to post? When are we going to post it? How are we going to post it? And at the end of the month, we go through the statistics and find out, how well it's doing. And then we change it up. But yeah, posting isn't, we always say it's just not always about you. It's about how you can give your audience information that would be useful to them.
And I will also say, leverage your teams, your company, your people. When I do a post I want to be seen, I actually will send to my team, my staff that work for me. I'll send a link to the post and go, hey, I just put this out there. Let's all like, share, comment. Let's push it out. And that's another way to get your event for your charity coming out. Something you're doing is to leverage your network, reach out to them and send them a link to the post where I come in here, click on the 3 dots, and I can copy a link to the post. So Brian, do you have other questions?
Yeah, we got a couple more that came in, a couple fun ones, just thanking you. Great information, great tips. Thank you. So informative. I love LinkedIn. Thanks so much. It's been very informative and helpful. One, Larry, can you repost the sample intro letter you create for intros? So I'll let you, if that's something you can repost, or I can connect you with the person that
Are you recording today?
It is all recorded, yes.
So if they get a link, they'll see, you're talking about the intro that I shared where I created my own intro, is that you're talking about?
Correct, your own intro letter that you would send to a friend to introduce you.
Yeah, that's in my deck, and I'm going to share my deck as well, and plus you'll get the recording link.
Great.
Wonderful.
Perfect. I will let them know that. Another one that was kind of off topic, but I'm interested to get your thoughts, are on TikTok. Is that for organizations? I've seen a lot of different things on TikTok for organizations. Want to get your thoughts on that real quick.
And Dawn, that's back to you.
That's a big, fat, hard no. No, it's too controversial. Probably the audience on TikTok isn't going to be, and our friends at Instagram have made Instagram Reels, which will give you the same ability. But no, there's just way too much controversy with TikTok.
Larry, also, I'm going to have a couple people just contact you directly on maybe some of the other information that they're looking for that you can give to them. So I'm sure you'll be on the lookout for that as well, too. So
I will help anyone today with any questions you have, and thrilled to get you back a speedy response. And then you could also reach out to Dawn, who's also an expert on all social media platforms. I can't take that credit.
and I know all of your information is on our site underneath speakers there for Dawn and for Larry. So thank you both very much for joining us today. Really appreciate you guys taking the time and sharing all your information, all your expertise. I know I learned a lot, and I imagine a lot of people learned a lot from this and will continue to in the days to come.
Well, we hope so. We hope so. I really appreciated working with Dawn today as well. And Brian, thank you. And Ryan, had a lot of fun. And thanks all of you for participating. Look forward to connecting, and have an awesome day. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Nice to meet
problem.
you, Larry.
Same here, Dawn.
Right. Everybody have a good one.
Bye-bye.